I work out every day. But I had to. I had no choice because the doctors were telling me I was slowly, well, not slow.
Picture this. A man who once had to head off a bat on stage is now quietly tending his garden, watering flowers and planting seeds. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's just one of the many surprising sides of Ozzy Osbourne that most people never get to see. Today, we're going behind the curtain to discover the real lifestyle of the Prince of Darkness himself. Most people know Ozzy as a wild rock star who screamed heavy metal songs and did shocking things on stage. But what's his life really like when the cameras stop rolling and the crowds go home? How does a man worth over $200 million actually live? What does he do for fun? And how is he dealing with some serious health problems that could end anyone's career? Get ready to be amazed, because Ozzy's real life is way more interesting and surprising than anything you've seen in his music videos. From his secret hobbies that nobody talks about, to his incredible houses that cost more than most people make in a lifetime, to his brave fight against diseases that would knock down ordinary people. This is a complete story of how Ozzy Osbourne really lives. Let's start with something that will blow your mind. When Ozzy isn't screaming into microphones or performing crazy stunts, he loves the garden. Yes, you heard that right. The same man who became famous for biting bat heads spends his peaceful moments digging in the dirt and growing beautiful plants. It's like finding out that a scary monster actually loves to paint pretty pictures. Ozzy has talked about how gardening helps him feel calm and relaxed. After decades of living life in the fast lane, dealing with loud music, crazy crowds, and nonstop excitement, working in his garden gives him a chance to slow down and connect with nature. He plants flowers, grows vegetables, and takes care of his plants like they're his children. It's his way of finding peace in a world that's always been loud and chaotic for him. But gardening isn't his only surprising hobby. Ozzy is also a serious art collector. His homes are filled with expensive paintings and sculptures that most people could never afford. He doesn't just buy art because it's expensive, though. He actually loves looking at beautiful things and thinking about what the artists were trying to say. It's another side of his personality that shows he's much deeper than people think. Reading is another one of Ozzy's favorite activities. While many people might expect him to only read about music or horror stories, he actually loves biographies. He enjoys learning about other people's lives, especially famous musicians and important people from history. It's like he's always trying to understand how other people became successful and what their lives were really like behind the scenes. And here's something that might surprise you even more. Ozzy loves watching TV shows just like the rest of us. One of his favorite shows was The Walking Dead. He got completely hooked on the zombie drama and would watch episode after episode. He loved how the characters had to survive in impossible situations and how they formed strong friendships, even when everything around them was falling apart. When it comes to movies, Ozzy has always been drawn to horror films. The Exorcist is one of his all-time favorites. He loves movies that scare people and make them think about things they don't usually want to think about. It makes sense when you consider that his music has always been about exploring the dark side of life. Now let's talk about food, because even rock stars have to eat. Despite living in America for many years, Ozzy's heart still belongs to traditional English cooking. His favorite meal is shepherd's pie, which is a classic British dish made with ground meat and mashed potatoes. He also loves a good roast dinner with all the traditional sides. It reminds him of growing up in England and eating meals that his mother used to make for family. Ozzy's style choices tell their own story, too. If you ever seen him, you know he almost always wears black clothes. Black shirts, black pants, black leather jackets. It's like his uniform. And those famous round sunglasses? He wears them so often that they've become part of his identity. The black clothing isn't just for show, though. It represents his connection to the gothic and dark themes that have always been part of his music and personality. One thing that really shows Ozzy's caring side is his love for animals. Throughout his life, he's had many pets, and he treats them like family members. Recently, he was heartbroken when his beloved dog Rocky passed away. Rocky was a small Pomeranian who had been with Ozzy for 15 years. That's a long time for any dog, and losing Rocky was like losing a best friend. But Ozzy and his family don't just love their own pets. They regularly adopt rescue animals, giving homes to dogs and cats that other people have abandoned. It shows that underneath all the rock star craziness, Ozzy has a huge heart for creatures that need help and love. Speaking of love, let's talk about Ozzy's family life. He's been married to Sharon Osbourne since 1982, which means they've been together for over 40 years. That's incredibly rare in the entertainment world, where marriages often don't last very long. Their relationship hasn't always been smooth. They've had their share of fights, problems, and even times when they almost got divorced. But they always find their way back to each other. Sharon isn't just Ozzy's wife. She's also been his manager for most of his career. She's the one who helps make the big decisions about his music, his tours, and his business deals. Many people say that Sharon is the brains behind Ozzy's success, and he's never been shy about admitting that she's helped him become the star he is today. Together, Ozzy and Sharon have 3 children, Amy, Kelly, and Jack. All 3 kids grew up in the spotlight, especially when the family had their own reality TV show called The Osbournes in the early 2000s. The show let people see what it was really like to live with Ozzy as a dad. Spoiler alert, he was just as crazy at home as he was on stage, but he was also a loving father who cared deeply about his kids. Kelly became famous in the show and went on to have her own career in music and television. Jack also stayed in the entertainment business and became a TV producer. Amy chose to stay more private and focus on her own music career without all the media attention. It's clear that all 3 children learned different lessons from growing up in such a unique family. Now, let's take a tour of the incredible places Ozzy has called home over the years. These aren't just houses. They're like palaces that most people can only dream about visiting. For many years, Ozzy and Sharon lived in a massive mansion in Hidden Hills, California. This wasn't just any house. It was a 10,000 square foot estate that looked like something from a movie. The house had 7 bedrooms, which means it was big enough for a small hotel. It also had its own recording studio where Ozzy could work on his music without bothering the neighbors. The coolest part of the Hidden Hills house was probably the swimming pool. But this wasn't a regular pool. It was decorated with Gothic designs that matched Ozzy's dark style. Imagine swimming in a pool that looked like it belonged in a haunted castle. The whole property was designed to reflect Ozzy and Sharon's unique taste and their love for dramatic, over-the-top decorations. When they were ready for a change, they sold the Hidden Hills house to singer Jessica Simpson for $11.5 million. That's more money than most people will ever see in their entire lives. But for Ozzy, it was just time to move on to something new. Their next home was in Beverly Hills, another super expensive area in California. This house was even bigger, 11,000 square feet of pure luxury. It had a grand staircase that looked like something from fairy tale, multiple fireplaces for cozy winter nights, and a backyard that was like a private resort. The pool area was designed to look like a natural grotto, with rocks and plants that made it feel like swimming in a hidden cave. But the most impressive house in Ozzy's collection might be the one they bought in 2015. This mansion in Los Angeles cost them about $12 million and was originally built in 1929. That means it's almost 100 years old and full of history. The house has 6 bedrooms and 11 bathrooms, plus a separate guest apartment above the garage. When they bought it, Ozzy and Sharon spent even more money renovating it, adding modern features while keeping the classic style that made it special. By 2022, they decided to sell this historic mansion for $18 million. That means they made about $6 million in profit just from owning the house for 7 years. Not a bad investment. But here's something really interesting about Ozzy and Sharon. Even though they've lived in America for decades, their hearts still belong to England. They own a beautiful estate in the English countryside, in a place called Buckinghamshire. This house is officially recognized as a historic building, which means it's so old and important that the government protects it. The English estate is completely different from their California mansions. Instead of swimming pools and recording studios, it has rolling green hills, old trees, and the kind of peaceful quiet that you can only find in the countryside. Ozzy has said that being there helps him remember where he came from and connects him to his roots as a working-class kid from Birmingham. In fact, Ozzy and Sharon have talked about moving back to England permanently. They've said that America has become too crazy and stressful for them, and they want to spend their later years in the peaceful English countryside where they can relax and enjoy a simpler life. Of course, when you're a rock star worth over $200 million, you need some serious transportation to match your lifestyle. Ozzy's car collection over the years has been absolutely incredible, featuring some of the most expensive and powerful vehicles in the world. One of his most famous cars was a Lamborghini Diablo, an Italian supercar that can go incredibly fast and costs more than most people's houses. The Diablo isn't just about speed, though. It's a work of art on wheels, with a design that looks like it came from the future. For Ozzy, driving a car like that was probably the closest thing to the rush he gets from performing on stage. He's also owned a Rolls-Royce Phantom, which is basically the ultimate symbol of luxury and class. While the Lamborghini was about speed and excitement, the Rolls-Royce was about comfort and elegance. It's the kind of car that makes you feel like royalty just sitting in it. But maybe the coolest car in Ozzy's collection was a Ferrari F40. This is one of the most legendary sports cars ever made, known for its incredible performance and stunning looks. Owning a Ferrari F40 is like owning a piece of automotive history. Ozzy's love for powerful vehicles doesn't stop at cars, though. He's also been passionate about motorcycles throughout his life. He once owned a custom-built chopper that was made specifically for him by a famous motorcycle builder. This wasn't just any motorcycle. It had a gas tank shaped like a cross and a seat made from alligator hide. It was as unique and rebellious as Ozzy himself. Unfortunately, Ozzy's love for fast vehicles sometimes got him into trouble. In 2003, he had a serious accident while riding a Yamaha Banshee quad bike on his property. The crash left him with multiple injuries and required several surgeries. It was a scary reminder that even rock stars aren't invincible when it comes to the dangers of high-speed vehicles. Now, let's talk about the more serious side of Ozzy's current lifestyle, his health challenges. Getting older is hard for everyone, but when you've lived as wild a life as Ozzy has, the body eventually starts to demand payment for all those years of excess. In recent years, Ozzy's been dealing with some major health problems that would stop most people in their tracks. He's been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, which is a serious condition that affects the brain and makes it harder to control movement. People with Parkinson's often have shaking hands, difficulty walking, and problems with balance. For someone whose career has always been about energetic performances and wild stage movements, Parkinson's disease is especially challenging. Imagine trying to sing and dance for thousands of people when your own body won't cooperate with what your mind wants to do. On top of the Parkinson's diagnosis, Ozzy has also been dealing with serious back problems. In 2019, he had a bad fall that injured his spine, and since then he's needed multiple surgeries to try to fix the damage. Spinal injuries are incredibly painful and can make it hard to do even simple things like walking or sitting comfortably. In September 2023, Ozzy underwent what he said would be his final spinal surgery. That's a big deal because it means he's been through so many operations that the doctors have done everything they can do. Now it's just a matter of healing and learning to live with whatever limitations remain. Despite all these health challenges, Ozzy's spirit remains unbroken. He continues to make public appearances when he can, and he's still working on music projects. His determination to keep going despite his physical problems is inspiring to millions of fans around the world who are dealing with their own health issues. One of the most touching moments in recent years was when Ozzy made a rare public appearance just to connect with his fans. Even though moving around is difficult for him now, he wanted to show people that he's still fighting and still grateful for all the love and support he's received throughout his career. In October 2024, Ozzy received an incredible honor that proved his influence on music will never be forgotten. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the second time, this time as a solo artist. He had already been inducted years earlier as a member of Black Sabbath, but this new induction recognized his individual achievements and contributions to rock music. The ceremony was emotional for everyone involved. Fellow musicians gave speeches about how Ozzy had influenced their own careers, and fans around the world celebrated the recognition of someone who had given them so much joy and inspiration over the decades. But Ozzy's current lifestyle isn't just about dealing with health problems and receiving awards. He's also staying active in causes he believes in. In October 2024, he joined over 1,000 other writers and entertainers in signing an open letter about freedom of expression. This showed that even at his age and with his health challenges, Ozzy still cares about important issues and wants to use his fame to make a positive difference in the world. He's also been involved in some fun projects that show his playful side is still very much alive. He partnered with his hometown soccer team, Aston Villa, and the sports company Adidas to create a special edition soccer jersey and cleats. This project celebrated both his Birmingham roots and the legacy of Black Sabbath, showing how his influence extends far beyond just music. Throughout all of these recent activities, Ozzy has been supported by his family, especially Sharon. After more than 40 years of marriage, she's still by his side, helping him navigate the challenges of aging while continuing to manage his career and public appearances. Their relationship has become an inspiration to many people because it shows that true love can survive anything: fame, fortune, health problems, and all the other challenges that life throws at you. Sharon has often talked about how their bond has only grown stronger as they've faced these difficult times together. Looking at Ozzy's lifestyle today, it's clear that he's learned to balance the wild rock star persona that made him famous with the realities of being a husband, father, and grandfather who's dealing with serious health issues. He's had to give up some of the more extreme activities that defined his younger years, but he's found new ways to stay connected to his fans and continue contributing to the world of music and entertainment. The philanthropic side of Ozzy's current lifestyle is also worth mentioning. Throughout his career, he supported numerous charities and causes, often quietly and without seeking publicity for his good deeds. He's donated money to organizations that help children fight diseases and support other musicians who are struggling. One particularly touching example of his generosity was when he donated money he received from a legal settlement to a charity that was important to Sharon. Instead of keeping the money for himself, he chose to give it to an organization that fights colon cancer, showing that his love for his wife extends to supporting the causes she cares about. As we wrap up this deep dive into Ozzy Osbourne's incredible lifestyle, it's amazing to see how much this man has experienced in one lifetime. From his humble beginnings as a poor kid in Birmingham, England, to becoming one of the most famous rock stars in the world, to building a business empire worth hundreds of millions of dollars, to facing serious health challenges with courage and grace, Ozzy's story is truly extraordinary. His lifestyle today is a fascinating mix of luxury and simplicity, wildness and peace, public fame and private family moments. He owns incredible houses and expensive cars, but he also finds joy in simple things like gardening and reading books. He's performed for millions of people around the world, but his greatest pride seems to come from his relationships with Sharon and their children. Perhaps most importantly, Ozzy's current lifestyle shows us that it's possible to grow and change while still staying true to who you are at your core. He may not be biting bad heads anymore, but he's still the Prince of Darkness, just a more mature, thoughtful, and family-oriented version. His battle with Parkinson's disease and his recovery from multiple surgeries remind us that even our heroes are human beings who face the same kinds of challenges that affect all of us as we get older. But his determination to keep creating, keep performing, and keep connected with his fans shows us what's possible when you refuse to give up on your dreams and passions. So there you have it, the complete inside look at how Ozzy Osbourne really lives. From his secret gardening hobby to his multi-million-dollar mansions, from his loyal marriage to Sharon to his brave fight against serious health problems, Ozzy's lifestyle is as fascinating and complex as the man himself. If this incredible journey through the Prince of Darkness's real life has amazed you as much as it amazed us, then you know what to do. Smash that like button to show your appreciation for this deep dive into one of rock music's most legendary figures. Share this video with your friends who love music, celebrity lifestyles, or just incredible human stories of triumph over adversity. And definitely don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell, because we're always working on more fascinating content about the real lives of the world's biggest stars. Trust us, you won't want to miss what we have coming up next. Until then, keep rocking, and remember, no matter what challenges life throws at you, you can face them with the same courage and determination as the Prince of Darkness himself.